What's good, everyone? I'm Marcus, and today I have a rep max effort attempt on squats. Last week I was feeling pretty good about it. This week, not so much, but I thought I'd bring you along on the ride, see how this day goes, and I'll try to keep this to a short video, a little bit of warm up, and then I'm gonna get into the training, and I'll keep it as condensed as possible. Today I'm using the Kabuki Next Gen Power Bar for my squats because I like to keep that in the rack. And for me, with most of my barbell grips, I typically keep the pinkies either on the rings or just inside the rings for squats. All right, let's load up some plates. All right, so one of the things I like about having switched to kilo plates, for the most part, is having heavier warm-ups. So instead of starting with 135, I'm starting with 155 for the same number of repetitions. And I think that's going to benefit me in the long run by getting an extra reps, an extra 20 pounds at this level for warm-ups, continually doing that throughout the training session, getting in those heavier warm-up reps all the way through up until either top set or working set. And I am happy to say that these Pioneer knee sleeves are nice and broken in. They're still tight, still snug, still give you amazing support, but I'm actually able to wear them for longer periods of time, twice a week. I no longer have to rush to get them off, so I'm pretty happy with what they've become, which I suspected for the most part. But anyway, here I'm going for a set of 4. Maybe I'll do 3 since it's actually a rep max day. Try to keep my energy level up. All right, let's get some more plates on. I gotta say, thankfully the hamstrings are feeling okay, but I'm still only at lightweight. So let's see how that goes. And by the way, I usually try to avoid using my belt until I go above my body weight, which is at the time 235. So once I add on the next pair of red plates, I'll be using my weight belt. Love hitting the uprights. All right, I'm going to pause here so I can change out some more plates and take a little rest. All right, so I'm now at 265 for this next warm-up, which means I break out the weight belt. I'm not trying to be a hero. Eventually, as I get stronger and stronger, I'll try to go up higher and higher and maybe approach warm-ups without a belt until I get to about 300 pounds. At least that's my hope. Here I'm going for 2. I'm not mostly a high bar squatter, but I could even say hybrid because I keep practicing trying to get lower on the back, especially as I get heavier with weight. With my height, folding myself over is easier than trying to stay upright and losing balance with heavy weight on my back. I gotta say too, The snug compression of these knee sleeves is definitely helping my hamstrings. Let's keep it going. Moving up to 295. It's at this point where I'll be doing singles for warm-ups. Right. So I decided on a minor adjustment to this next warm-up because I would typically have 3 more warm-up sets. So instead of 295, I'm going with 310 to make a bigger jump to the next one, which will be 355. So I'm just trying to keep the jumps to a minimum. So 2 more sets, this one and then 355, and then we'll make our attempt. Ordinarily I'd have music, so it seems a little different today in such silence. But because I'm trying to do this live and speak to some of what I'm doing, I'm eliminating that part. Alright, I now have 355. I'm going for my last warm-up as a single. And then I'm going to move on to the rep max attempt at 385 again. All right, that moved a little slower than I hoped. So right now I'm second guessing myself and rethinking, going for 385. Hit 375 for 3 last week. Maybe 380. My 375 last week was at an RPE 9, so 380 at RPE 10 seems a little bit short-sighted. But let's see what happens, because my understanding of the rep max attempt, it's better to undershoot than overshoot, and more importantly is to get the reps in at the heavier weights. So if I overshoot and only get 2 reps instead of 3, I'm sort of selling myself short for the training. It's these moments we get in our own head and second guess things, the anxiety of rep max attempts and all that. I have to remember, number 1, I'm not on the platform. Number 2, even if I was, this is not Worlds or Sheffield, for crying out loud. It's just me at home. I'm trying to improve myself, so got to keep it in terms of realism and just really employ the Jedi mind trick and get myself back into the groove to believe that I have 385 for 3 in me. So I think that's what I'm going to go for. I'm going to stick to my original plan. Let's load it up. Maybe you can drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think I should go for. Stick with 375 or 380, or go for 385. Let's do it, 385. That's 380. Another 5-pound plate on this side. 385. May the strength gods of Olympus be with me. Decently. First rep should move well. Second should move decently. And then, if it's a bit of a grinder for the third, okay, so be it. Let's get this. Didn't have the safety set up right. Dumbass. I think I'm gonna try it again. So that was a fail, but I'm not gonna cut that out because we all fail at times. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, I didn't have the strap safety on this side set up right, so getting out of that was a little difficult, but thankfully I didn't get injured. However, I'm not one that easily accepts defeat, so I'm gonna go for another attempt at my 3 rep max. My logic is twofold, but most importantly, if I were competing, 385 would have been my first attempt. I hit the first single, no problem. When I look back at the video, it looks like I lost a little balance in the hole for my second repetition, and that kind of threw me off. So I have to make sure I maintain my tightness and see all 3 reps through as similarly as possible. But that being said, with that being a first attempt, I'd have 2 more attempts during the competition. So let's say, for example, 385 was my first attempt. I might go for 405 for my second attempt and 420 for my third attempt. Right now, my estimated 1 rep max is 420 to 425. So that is a logical progression for me. So having done 1 successful repetition at 385, I'm going to look at this next attempt as attempts 2 and 3 and see how it goes. Right now, mentally, I'm going to aim for 2 repetitions since I did 1 successful repetition, and I decreased the weight slightly from 385 to 380. Not really what I wanted, but it's life, and I'm going to deal with that. If I make the second repetition and it's not a grinder, I may consider hitting a third repetition to get a 3 rep max actual successful set. I take my time between reps, make sure I set up for the next repetition perfectly. Calling it there. That second rep moved slower than I was hoping, so I felt like aiming for a third repetition was pointless. So I'm going to chalk this up as a 3 rep max at a 380 instead of 385. But now I got my working sets to go. So I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are behind my logic of a 3 rep max at 380. Hitting a single at 385 and then a double at 380. Does that compute for you, or do you think it's BS? Let me know in the comments section below. Honestly, I think it's fair because the first set I attempted 385, I did 1.5 repetitions. I failed on the second one. I couldn't get lockout. Basically, I was being greedy, doing a 10-pound jump from last week. So I think that was my mistake there. If I had just been a little more reasonable and went with a 5-pound jump from last week's 375 triple to 380, I think would have been doable and obviously more reasonable. Because if you think about it, a 5-pound jump week to week is still phenomenal. Got to stop getting greedy and letting my past success get to my head and just be reasonable about my attempts. So anyway, first working set, 335 for triple. Not bad. You know, thinking about it, although I'm bummed that I missed the 3 rep max at 385, I got to keep it in perspective and be grateful that I was able to do the single and then a double at 380 because my hamstrings are beat to crap today from the Nordic ham curls that I did on Friday. I really didn't think I was going to be able to do squats today and considered postponing today's session to tomorrow and moving tomorrow's bench session to today, swapping them out to let the hamstrings get a little bit more recovery time. So in that context, I'm feeling pretty good about the single at 35 and then the double at 380. Chalk it up as a win. But let's get this last working set going. So that's it for squats. Gonna work through my accessories. I'll show just the minimum of footage from that for today's workout, because I know that's not exactly exciting. But I thank you for joining me on this rep max attempt quest for today. Let's keep it rolling. Appreciate you. All right, not bad at all. One more set of those, and I just have some front planks to end the day. All right, well, that ends today's session. For the most part, I'm going to chalk it up as a win. 3 rep max in 2 different parts. Whatever. Training goes on. I'm feeling good. If I aimed a little lower, I'm pretty sure I would have been a success for that 3 rep max at 380. And also if my hamstrings weren't hurting. But it is what it is. That's it. Hope you enjoyed this style of video. If you're interested in seeing more of this, I do have a 3 rep max attempt for bench press on Friday. If you're interested, give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the description. And I will consider videoing the entire session to upload for Friday night or Saturday. But I appreciate you sticking around. Catch you on the next one.